All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. This is Bo Krager, your real estate investor, mentor, and coach. In this whole thing that's going on with COVID, I just thought I'd come online. I don't know how to express it, but anyway, before I get into the details of why we're here, let's wait and welcome a few people online. Yeah, So at 7 o'clock, we're going to go live. We're going to be talking about real estate investing in a COVID-19 world. If you are online and you're watching this, please pop me a hi or yay or something and let me see, because this is the first time we're using this tool. And yeah, I'm just setting up for the first time, so I want to see that the feedback is okay. I don't want to do a blind video here. So yeah, just pop me a hi, pop me a message. We currently, I think we live on Facebook. We live on Instagram. Sorry, we're not live on Instagram. We live on Facebook. We live on Twitter, and we are also live on YouTube. So yeah, if you are online at this moment, just let me know. And yeah, let's see. Let's see. We're waiting for 7 o'clock and we're going live. Okay. Who's online? Who's online? Who's online? Okay. Guys, so I'm doing this from a different tool, and I'm not necessarily on the platforms that we are basically streaming this from. Okay, I need this conversation to be very interactive. I need your feedback as much as possible to make this session absolutely impactful, full energy, and give you the best of myself as I possibly can. And to be able to do all of that, I need you to come online. I need you to give me a hi or a yay or something, so that I can see when you're online. Okay. So we're waiting for 6 o'clock, and that's 6 o'clock South African time, or as other people will put it, Central African time. We're waiting for that, and we'll be going live now. Okay, so cancel. Okay, so I see we've got. Okay, what do we have online? We're waiting for that, and we'll be going live now. Okay. I've taken the messages offline for the moment. I'm not sharing my screen with anyone. And settings, recording this live to Facebook and to Twitter. And yeah, we're good. I'm just waiting for a few people to come online. As we're waiting for people to come online, just let me know how you are coping in this COVID-19 situation. It's very unprecedented times. It's unique. We've never ever encountered this before. But as they say, right, if life gives you lemons, what do? You make lemonade. All right, it's 6 o'clock, and we're going to go in live, and we're going to start this the streaming session. We're gonna start. Okay, captions. 1 second. So everything is good. Okay. And we live officially. Okay, we're waiting for people to come and join us. I see there's a few people already. Great. So guys, if you're watching this at the moment, just let me know who you are and which platform you're watching from. So for example, just type in the comment button of whatever platform you're on and just say, hey, from this place and I'm on Facebook, or hey, this person and I'm on whatever platform you're on. I'm waiting for your comments and your feedback so that I can know that we actually have everybody on here and we can basically start and get this conversation going. Okay. Okay, I forgot. Let me get this offline so we don't get any notifications. Six o'clock. Okay, we waiting. Okay, I see people are logging on. I didn't do any sort of notification to anyone yet. It's the first video we're doing. I'm learning and I'll learn from these mistakes and we'll be able to do better as we're going along. All right. So also I would appreciate your feedback and just let me know what you think of this video, what you learned from it. And yeah, I'm struggling still to see the comments. So that's one thing that I'm realizing with this thing is that it's supposed to get your comments coming through. I just got a text from someone that says my comments are not showing. Or can you read my comments? Okay, but I'm not seeing them. So I need to see. There's another app that came with this. I'm trying to open that and see if I'll be able to pick up the live comments from there. Okay. The app is open. All right, I'm waiting. Hooray. The chat is waiting for new messages. Aha, so this is where I had to go. Okay, kind of got it now. All right, so now I can say for a fact we are streaming to YouTube, we're streaming to Periscope, which is also Twitter, and we are streaming to Facebook. And at the moment, hey, Facebook. Okay, so we've got, yeah, the numbers are climbing up. Good, guys. Hello, Facebook people. Thank you so much for joining me yet again on this platform. It's the very first time after a long time that I am reaching out to stream. And in a few minutes, you'll understand why I'm coming online. And also you'll understand why I went offline for a very long time and why I'm coming online. But you also learn what I got going offline. Okay. So I promised you something today, and that is if you leave this conversation at the end of this conversation, you who is watching this will definitely come out of this video with an opportunity to be able to actually restructure or just basically change a switch in your mind that would help you to overcome this whole COVID thing and actually prepare yourself to be ready going forward for any real estate investment opportunity that will come online. Joey, I acknowledge you. Thank you so much for coming online. Just pop me a message. Tell me where you messaging me from. Tell me a little bit about yourself in this current COVID-19 situation. How are you doing within it? It would be great to know. It would be great to know what other people are doing, what it actually means for you, you know? So here's a bit of a reality. So for those of you that have logged on watching me, most of you already know that I am into real estate. And literally everything that I do is in real estate. I run a real estate agency, and I'm an investor, and I coach people around real estate. Um, I wake up and I breathe and I sleep real estate, and it's always been like that, especially since I came out of the formal banking sector. Uh, all of all of the stuff that I've done from a wealth creation point of view has always been real estate, and it served me well. It served me really, really well. But COVID-19 got me thinking on a whole new level, which I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to think on that level had we not even had this lockdown. So, how many of you sometimes have, when you've taken a pause and you've looked back, have realized that there are certain things in life that you've been great at, but you have sort of not really consciously been aware that with time you have, in a way, what do you call it? Taken them for granted. Let me just use that word. So if you know how it feels like when you just come up to that aha moment when a crisis has struck and you realize that, gee whiz, I actually had a diamond that I've always been working with, but actually over the years, perhaps I've taken for granted. Go in the comments and let me know if you are one of those persons that COVID-19 has given you an opportunity to actually sit back, reflect, and say to yourself, this is who I am. Let me know in the comment section if you've been going through such exercises. Now, we are talking real estate investing in a COVID world. Real estate investing in a COVID world. I think we've given everybody enough time to gather themselves and join in, and we're going to be, I'm going to just get into the meat of it. Okay, so here we go. Real estate investing in the COVID world. It was, for me, there's something that I've not shared with a lot of people. And in this video, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be totally honest with you. And I'm going to share my real self, because I do believe that in sharing this, maybe, just maybe, your life will switch and will become a little bit better. So I'm going to start from the beginning. It was in January, the early parts of January, after we all wished each other the Happy New Year and all of that, that I got a message from a friend of mine that's overseas, that said that there is this thing that is happening getting to the latter part. So it was getting to the latter part of January, that he said there's this thing that is happening in New York, and you may want to look at your lifestyle and make a few changes. Okay. Then I got the message also from my sister, most of you know, from Brooklyn, and she said, listen, this is what's happening. You may want to do A, B, C, D with regards to your current lifestyle. And I just went into an overdrive, because you learn from this video just now, 5 truths that I've sort of lived by, 5 truths that have aided me in the last few years, and that has really, really helped me. One thing you guys don't know about me is that I am a scatterbrain. I have struggled for most of my life, wanting to do so many things at one specific time, and have not really always done it, because of my scatterbrainness. I have been a scatterbrain like nobody's business. Hello, Palisa. I acknowledge you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the comments. At least now I know that the comments are coming through as well. We're talking about real estate investing in a COVID-19 world. But before getting into the meat and the nitty-gritties of it, I just thought I would share a few things with you. So we're talking about how I am a scatterbrain. So the one secret that you guys, um, my biggest secret is that I've been a scatterbrain. I suppose that's what happens with the creator's mind. Um, I'm one of those people that always sees problems, and within the problems starts immediately thinking, how can this be solved? But before it can get solved, what is the reason why this thing exists? How are the people that are facing this coping with it or not coping with it? And what is the reason why they are coping or not coping with it? And realizing that trait, my mind goes into overdrive and just goes, okay, great. If the ideal world was to be created, how would it look like, and how would these people exist within that problem? And that always then gets me always seeing problems and seeing the solutions to those problems. So that has also come from a fact that I am an eternal optimist. So I'm one of those people that you'd really struggle to persuade me that all is doom and gloom. Because when things come my way, when things are dark, when things are bad, the optimist in me always drives out and starts thinking, what is the silver lining here? And for me, hearing about the disease, hearing about this pandemic that we are now facing, got me to quickly sit and assess myself and say, if this disease is going to keep us locked in, there's few things that I need to quickly do, because if I'm affected, my family gets affected in a certain way, so I need to change a few things. And that got me into overdrive from a business point of view, and God willingly, we were able to push good business. But post this into the lockdown, a big truth has come out of it, of what my life really means. So in my next video, I think I should actually share this with you. I should share it, and I will share it. I'll share basically finding me in this whole COVID world. How I found my real self in this COVID world. Yeah, I think I will, and I think I should. So we're gonna do that. Note that, Annie. So, guys, COVID-19, when it started happening, many of us sat and looked at it knowing that it's going to be a big pandemic, but we never really estimated how it would affect our lives. And now I'm talking to the real estate investors. If most of you would remember, just before the lockdown in South Africa, properties.com, and by that I mean myself, we did a little video on the 7 strategies that every real estate investor should adapt to be able to actually survive this whole COVID, to survive this COVID environment, right? So we shared that video. I've lost myself. Okay. We shared that video on how every investor, or 7 strategies that every investor can adapt to be able to overcome this whole COVID pandemic. And when we shared it at the time, the first thing that we shared was not to panic. Not to panic. And I swallowed my own pill. I swallowed my own pill. What do I mean by swallowing my own pill? With all the noise that is out there, it's very easy for one to actually lose yourself, in this whole thing of negativity, counting the numbers, how many people are getting this virus, are they in my province, are they in my neighborhood, will they what do you call it, will it come to me, how many people have gotten it, how many people are dying from it, and all of those, we tend to look at the negative statistics. I flipped it on its head by not panicking to say, to not panic. As you know, in those 7 strategies, one of the other strategy we shared was to listen to credible information, and we shared sites like the WHO site, and we also shared with you the Hopkins University site, right, where you'd be getting great informations from. Now, we've been following the numbers, and we've been following the data, and we've been following the information that's coming out from all of these institutions. But we've been following the number of recoveries, and we've been following the medical evidence of what is to happen and what the reality would be. And most importantly, we've been following the economic language that is underlining this whole COVID thing, which is very, very important for you as a real estate investor. Okay? And following that got me to actually go into myself. And that's the first thing I want to share with you now. It's been many days. I've lost count now, but I can tell you for a fact the first 35 days of this lockdown, what I did. In the 35 days, the first 35 days, I kept religiously an audio journal. In keeping the audio journal, I started recording day by day, what is it that I am actually going through. As a real estate investor, the one thing that you always want to do is you need to check in with yourself to know where you are within a certain environment and why you are there. And if you're not checking in with yourself, it's very, very difficult for you to see what I'm going to share with you, these 5 truths that I have been able to actually expose out of COVID, okay? So you need to check in with yourself. And when I was checking in with myself and doing my audio journal, and why I'm able to tell you exactly the 35 days is because at the end of 35 days, I realized that I had actually been able to put together an entire audiobook that for the longest of time, I thought I would write, but never wrote. Okay. So I've been talking and I've been learning about how to write books and all of that. But life has always got us sort of putting it on hold. The one greatest thing, or the first gift that COVID gave myself, and if for those of you that have not realized it yet, that it's worth its every single weight in gold if you realize this, is that COVID is not a doom situation. Actually, the V, I'm jumping out of myself, but you get there. COVID is not a doom situation. More than anything, it has come to afford us, especially the real estate investor, it's afforded us the opportunity to sit, relax, and reevaluate, recalibrate. It has actually, as I've put in the description, it has reset the table. It has made everyone stay indoors to basically start thinking about how or who you are and why you are who you are, and your purpose and what you are to be on this earth for. Okay. Tembi Kosi says, yes, too much negativity happening now. Yes, too much negativity ain't good. And here is the reason why I'm actually online. So I got a message from someone. Some of you would have seen a few days ago, I shared on my stories a meme of myself asking, are you there? So it was on day 15. On day 15 of the South African lockdown, I got a message from a very dear friend of mine late at night that was very cryptic, that was in a way very, very scary. I woke up thinking, oh my goodness, is this person going to commit suicide? What state of mind are they in? And I picked up the phone and I started chatting to him. And we ended up talking for almost 2 hours. And in this conversation, there was so much that I gleaned from it. And the one was actually the realization that my audio journal that I was keeping was actually the book that I've always meant to write, but have never written. Okay. And that was the first gift that COVID gave me. The second gift that COVID gave me, which I'm going to share with you now, is actually the first meaning of the C in COVID. So COVID consists of COVID, COVID, right? COVID. The C in the COVID actually speaks to concentration. As a real estate investor, the first thing that you would learn, or you do well to learn, is that concentration cracks the concrete. Concentration cracks concrete. And if you know the scatterbrain me before becoming the Bokwegrin that you now know, that was the gift that I got out of having to sit to reevaluate myself. The scatterbrain me always got things done, but never really went deep into something to the point that one could unearth massive growth and massive opportunity. Until I read and learned the power of focus. And also when I read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, it taught me that in life, as with everything, you need to make time to concentrate. And when I say concentrate, I mean mental, to sit and concentrate on the bigger picture. Who are you? What is it that you want to achieve? But most importantly, why do you want to achieve that which you want to achieve? If you're a real estate investor and you are watching this video now, the one exercise I want you to take from this video is the concentration part. Ask yourself this question: who am I? Why do I want to be a real estate investor? Or why am I a real estate investor? And in knowing the why that I'm here, what is the one thing or the one aspect of real estate that I can concentrate on that would bring me maximum results? And in this series of real estate investing in a COVID world, I am going to share with you the practicalities of it. Today is just the introductory video, so I am going to skim through it, but we're going to go deeper in the weeks ahead. Okay, so every single Tuesday from now onwards, I'm going to come up live and I'm going to share 1 hour of my time with you to help you basically invest in real estate in this COVID world. Okay, because truth be told, all the doctors have professed this. This COVID-19 is not going to go away in a few days. It is going to be, or most of our life is going to have to adapt around it. So if our life is going to adapt around it, it's very important that we start learning how to do real estate properly in a COVID-19 world. So the first part of COVID being the C is concentration cracks the. Put in the comment for me. Concentration cracks the. Palesa, Temikosi, Joey, Fishler. Yeah, I want you to interact with me. So if you know the answer, I've said it just now. Concentration cracks the concrete. It cracks the concrete. Concentration cracks the concrete. That's the first C. Second is the O in COVID. When all the world is singing doom and gloom, it's very, very important that you do the O in COVID, which is to be open-minded. Open-mindedness actually opens the doors of opportunities that a closed mind would never see. Being open-minded in anything, in every aspect of your life, especially as a real estate investor, will always open for you doors that a closed mind will never, ever be able to open for you. Open your mind. And what do I mean by this? It means be aware of what is happening around you. Be mindful of what is happening around you, but open your mind to the positivity and the possibilities that abound within this whole thing. So a real thing that happened to us was actually when the president read out that every one of us, if we ever going to go out, must have a cloth mask. So we went out, my wife and I, and we actually basically asked one of our neighbor friends who had posted on their thing that they need to send us a few of these face masks. So they delivered it. And when they delivered it, we started complaining about how bad it looked, and how we were not really happy with the quality of it, and how we're not going to expose our kids to the world wearing such masks. And our nanny, actually hearing us complain, said, I can make cloth masks. And we said, no, you can't. Said, I can. So we left it, and we, in our heads, we were like, you can't. And the next day we opened our doors, and she had already made for herself, for myself, for my wife, and for the kids, cloth masks. And at this point, I would unashamedly share, if you are on Instagram, you want to go on African Sewn. You want to go on African Sewn, and you'd be able to actually see some of the masks, the cloth masks that she's made. Palisa, you say the network is failing us. Let me know. Are you not able to hear me? If you're not able to hear me, just let me know so that I can adjust it on my side. If it is something that is, just let me know specifically what is failing so that I can rectify it. I would want all of you to hear this. Is anyone out there experiencing network problems? Are you able to not hear me, or is my voice too low? Is my mic too low? Would you want me to adjust it? Please let me know. We're coming back on the thing of open-mindedness, and how being open-minded actually helped us realize that Pascalina's cloth mask that she had just made was an opportunity for her to actually start a business by herself, for herself, and equally generate income. Most of you know this. I am pro creating multiple streams of income, and I'm pro, as you'd actually find within this video, that it's very important. I value income a lot. So we basically said to Pascalina, here's your opportunity. You need to create these masks. Here's your opportunity to create a business. And that's how African Sewn was born. So the O is open-mindedness. Open-mindedness would open any door for opportunities that your closed mind would not see. The V now speaks to volatility. COVID has brought about so much volatility that it's not even funny. Now, most of my landlord friends and most of the accounts that we've been managing, the one thing that we have found is the volatility around the rental payment itself. That whether people are going to pay rent or not, the uncertainty that is in the market with regards to should I even take this this bank payment holiday that is being offered? If I took it, what does it mean for me? What does it not mean for me? How do I navigate this landscape? Those are the type of questions that was coming through that made me aware that the V in COVID is actually telling us that volatility is not really the villain that we think it is, but actually a friend. Because if we stop and look at this whole volatility from having that second trait of being open-minded, there's one thing or some few things that we would have noticed, and that is it presents landlords an opportunity to reevaluate the tenant profile that you have in your portfolio. It gives you an opportunity to even evaluate the suburbs that you've been in. for me, the V in COVID taught me that there are certain friends of mine. Let me not even go into friends. Let's go into my personal self. So let me go into my personal self. The V in the COVID made me realize that there are certain properties within my portfolio that were not really, or that are not really, the first time was right. Using the word that were is right, and I'll explain to you why. But they were not the brick houses that I thought they were, but they were actually straw houses. I use the word were because the problem solver in me, the moment he realizes something, is able to make a change around it. And because of that, I've been able to come up with a strategy that is serving me well going forward in terms of those specific properties within my portfolio and how to change it. Now, without going too deep into it, I'll share certain things about what I mean when I say certain properties are not necessarily not necessarily brick houses, but are straw houses. You as a real estate investor, when you are buying your property, very few of you had the opportunity from day one to have a real estate investor who is also a coach mentor you. Many of us bought our first few properties blindly. We bought them having read about what to do and the nuggets that we had learned out there, and we went out and we went to buy. Now, when we bought, as it's always said, no amount of information, even those of us that would have had coaching, no amount of information ever prepares you for the actual deal, right? So what COVID has taught me, and what I'm, in terms of my straw houses within my portfolio, is that there are certain tenants that we have that actually, in as much as we profile them right, in as much as we banked on them right, that going forward, had we had a lot of them in our, or had their quality been a significant portion of our portfolio, would have actually crippled our business to the point of desperation. And in the upcoming videos, I'm going to be showing you basically, I'm going to share this actually for free. So in this COVID lockdown, we've actually created a step-by-step guide, which was basically a directive to the 25-year-old me on how it created its real estate portfolio and how one can take those lessons and actually repeat them to always have a perpetual income generating portfolio. Let's go back before I digress. So had those tenants been a significant portion of our portfolio, we would be crying now and life would be desperate. But fortunately, it was just a minute section. And with time and with great conversation and with negotiation, we've been able to curtail. Volatility is an opportunity for you as a real estate investor to actually start looking at the good that can come out of this volatility. In this volatility, for example, properties.com has been able to reposition itself within the inner CBD area. And we've been able, that's a market that I've actually never been in. We've been passionate about the inner CBD. We've been passionate about solving its problems. We've been very, very passionate about regentrification. But for some odd reason, due to ABCD, the deals have never materialized, and we've always never really gone in there. But sitting at home in this COVID has actually helped us to be able to analyze and re-evaluate to say, why have these deals never really happened? And why is it that the opportunities that abound in the CBD have not been able to be unearthed? And we found out that it's not just about saying you go into a certain suburb and the success will be there, right? And that's actually the one thing that has always kept us on the back foot. Some of you that have watched some of my previous videos would have heard me teach the three things about going into a suburb. Basically, you being able to, it's not just about location, but it's about being able to value the suburb as a whole in terms of who lives there, the income that is there, and what business is doing in that area. Now, we've known that, and that is what we've had the CBD then as a target on our plate, but have never eaten that food until now. And we've been able to then package the real solutions that has kept us off, so the disadvantages that has kept us off the CBD with this COVID, with this volatility, thinking with an open mind, and concentrating from the C, we've been able to then craft a solution to that. The I in COVID actually speaks to, right? And I'm going to share this to you. It speaks to the one thing that I have always stressed has been the greatest thing that has helped me, Ebo Quagrin, especially the most. And that is that from the very beginning, I had an opportunity of thinking about real estate, not only as a quick cash cow, but thinking of real estate as a long-term solution to all my wealth problems. And that was from an income point of view. So many of you would have hear me teach this, that real estate is ideal. And I always start from real estate is ideal, and ideal starting with I basically speaks to income. I found that even within this COVID thing, it still reels its head right through that income is so important. As a matter of fact, the maxim that I have coined from it is the fact that income buys time. Income buys time. Because if you are watching, or if you are living through this whole COVID thing, the one thing you would have realized is that time has frozen. A lot has been taken away from most of us, those of us that are entrepreneurs, that getting up in the morning to do the things that we wish to do, which actually the part that interfaces with people has been taken away. Sorry. And yet we have been left with one thing, and that is time. A lot of it, actually. A lot of it that most of us don't even know what to do with some of the time. But the income that you are generating from real estate actually is what is buying you this time. Now, there's somebody that's watching this video that is working from 9 to 5, that within this COVID situation is still forced by their employer to actually get up and commute to work, because the companies have created what they said a safe environment, even within the lockdown. And that's what made me realize this. Income buys time. And it's very, very important that as a real estate investor now, especially now, to be able to invest yourself to a point of wealth through this COVID, that you need to start quantifying the real income that you need today to be able to never, ever depend on your work anymore, okay? For your work to be, for you, a labor of love that you go to because you want to. So many of you know, and I share this all the time, that the first rule of what financial freedom really, the bottom line of what financial freedom is that financial freedom is that point within your life that your passive income buys you your total living expenses, so that anything that you have wanted to and do have wished to do, you can actually go out there and do it fully without not necessarily stressing and thinking about what will I use tomorrow to buy bread if I was not able to go into this place. Now, I'm going to share a message to you that gets up every single day to go to work within this whole COVID thing. And you wished that you would not be, you're not going there because you want to. You're not going there because you love to go there, but you're going there because you know if you don't go, your bottom line is affected. You know that you would not be able to put food on the table. And you're getting up to go to work because of that. I want to share this with you. All is not lost. And if more than anything, this COVID pandemic has brought to the fore this very important thing that you can and you should use real estate today as an opportunity to buy income for yourself so that you can buy that time that you currently do not have. Because the life that of going to work, from 9 to 5 every single day has to be enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, has to be enjoyable, is important because it gives you a sense of purpose and it gives you something to do. It gives you something that you've wanted to do that you are doing. That has to be the essence of it. It has to be done because you wish to do it. Right? But for you to be able to do it with the zeal, with the enthusiasm, with the love, it would mean that you would need to find a way to actually buy that time so that everything else you are doing is surplus and it's actually viable for you and sustains that enjoyment. And it's not a have to, but it's an I want to do. Now let's go to the D in COVID. The D in COVID actually begins the acronym of DEAL. It's saying that you need to do the deal. Do the deal. I got to this realization of the D in COVID when after the lockdown, I realized that there were some things that have been left undone that in a way I actually regretted. There were certain deals that have been brought to our table greater many of times that we have always overanalyzed, we've gone deep and we've always sort of overthought ourselves. As much as I've taught people that it's bad to overanalyze things and you should actually do things, there are certain things that, truth be told, come to your table, and as a human being, you overanalyze and you don't do the deal. And for me, that was my inner CBD deals that long ago have been brought to our table, but we never did. And COVID-19, the D in COVID-19, while I was analyzing it, taught me that we need to do the deals. So we basically took certain things that was on our dashboard and we asked ourselves the question, why have we not really done these deals? And we realized a common trend. The trend was we didn't have control. Most of you would know this. I believe in control. I believe in absolute control. Actually, the main reason why I teach and I converted myself from being the financial planner that was pushing out policies to actually becoming the wealth coach that is coaching people is because of the realization that the average investor in this world has for the longest of time been a passive investor that has surrendered all their control to a certain group of people. And because of that, will be greeted when they turn 65 with a handshake that tells them that you can only go out for the rest of your life to go and buy A, B, C, D that would amount to only X defined income per day, per month on the money that you have been putting aside. I'm going to repeat that. Many people are working now hard, saving a larger chunk of their income in retirement buckets. those retirement buckets at age 65, they are going to get a shock of their life, as I got in the year 2011, 2012, when I went to Addis and I came back and I was basically interacting with my clients and analyzing their portfolio. I started realizing that, oh my goodness, these my elderly clients, yes, they have millions in their bank account, from a bank account of, in terms of what will be transferred to them when they turn age 65. In their retirement portfolios were worth millions, right? And these were people that were earning great incomes. And I realized when I did the sums with them, I'm a numbers person. So I always go back to the basics of what is the sum of your life. And when we did the sums of their life, we realized that, oh my goodness, these people, when they retire 3 years into their retirement, I mean, I had a brigadier who was a client, and he actually brought this realization to me, and I said to him, Brigadier, I am really, really sorry that I subscribe to that school of thought that has actually landed me in front of you, and that has misled you to this point that 3 years into your retirement, you have to use that service gun that you were given, if you kept a copy of it, to actually, boom, end this thing, because literally the life that you're accustomed to will be gone and you'll fall into a state of depression, and there's no bucket if we don't make any drastic changes now that will sustain you. And many people are in that bracket. I digress, but I digress for a purpose, because I'm bringing you back to the D in the COVID, which is the deal, doing the deal. There's a lot of you that are putting off investing in real estate to say, I'll do it when I have a lot of money come my way. I'll do it when my financial situation improves. I'll do it when I am more certain. I'll do it when I can pay off the bond, of my current bond. For example, I'll become a real estate investor. By the way, owning one property that you live in does not equate to you becoming a real estate investor. Please, the property that you are currently living in, if it is not bringing you an income, it's not an asset, it's a liability. When I'm talking about investment, for me, an investment is something that brings you something back in return. It brings you a return. If it's not bringing you a return one way or the other, it's not an investment. And the house you are living in, yes, it puts a roof over your head, but that is not a great enough return for you to settle for. You need to start putting off doing the deal. And here I'm going to go into the deal part of it. Deal, D-E-A-L, D-E-A-L, says that the D part, look for assets that you can make money off while they are depreciating. In their depreciated state, you should be able to at least pick up from them the E in deal, which is equity. So, guys, I've never shared this before, and today I'm breaking this for you. Matter of fact, I'm actually sharing with you what has been my blueprint. Okay, my blueprint to investing in real estate has always been: step one, I look for depreciated assets. So I look for assets, or I look for properties that, in their current form, they are worth not what the money it is in terms of the market. But there's something that I've realized about myself growing up and over time, is that I've had an ability to have a foresight always, to be able to see beyond the now. I've had this eye for property. Like, I can look at an architectural building and I can see how it looks beyond its depreciated state. And that's where I got this D from. So I always, and you should, if you're a real estate investor and you want to succeed as a real estate investor in this COVID world, And for those of you that stayed till the end, this is the caveat. This is the real reason why I've been prolonging. And this is the real benefit that you're actually getting from this video. It's the deal, okay? Always start off by having foresight to look at depreciated assets. So don't look at assets in terms of, oh, this house is completed, the tiles is done, everything is polished, everything is done. They're asking me for 10 million. Now I can pour my money into it. No. Go and look for that 10 million rent property that you can buy today for 1 million because the garden is not kept, because the window is broken, because the door is with a tweak can get fixed, because the people living there actually do not appreciate what the property is, and because of that are not maintaining it. Depreciated asset. Because if you find the D, you will find the E. The E is basically the equity. Because the moment you pick up that depreciated asset for the depreciated, which is the discounted amount, so the D also tells you to buy a discounted amount and never to buy at premium. Okay, never buy at a premium. And if you don't know how to value a property, this is your opportunity to inbox me and join me in my other sessions so that I can teach you how to value deals. All right, because you always, if you start off wrong, if you don't pick up a deal, and by that I mean if it's not starting with D, depreciation, your property investment has it's basically started off as a doom. So when I tell you about certain assets of ours that were not straw houses, that were not brick houses, but were straw houses, that was one of them. There's a certain property that due to sentiment, it was one of the first properties that I bought. And in as much as it has served me well in the past, as time has progressed, as things have changed, has not really been and has not maintained its true value or its weight within my portfolio. But because of sentiment, we've kept it there. And the first crack within our portfolio that we observe, strangely enough, comes from that property. At the time, it was a deal. With age, it has passed. So that's also the other part. That leads to the A in deal, appreciation. If you've picked up a depreciated asset and have found the equity within it, when it appreciates, if you don't realize the appreciation by actually disposing of that property and getting rid of it from your portfolio, it doesn't continue serving you well. It's not every property that you buy that you are supposed to keep for a lifetime. There are properties that you are going to buy. They will serve you for 5 years. They will serve you for 10 years. They will maintain being a deal for a certain period. Maslow's theory of needs. I know most of you would read it from the triangle, where he talks about your basic needs and. But if you actually go and read the 362-page thesis of Maslow, you'd realize that there is an underlying element that he shares in one of the chapters, I think chapter 8, where he talks about the fact that as human beings, we always have these meta needs, okay? We have these things that always creep in, that when we get satisfied, we become unsatisfied. When we achieve success, within a certain amount of time, the success also prompts us to how unsuccessful we are, and we start craving for more, right? If you pick up your equity, okay, you pick up the DE. If you pick up the equity and the property appreciates, and in the appreciation, you don't realize the appreciation by actually leveraging it, which then leads us to the L in deal. By leveraging it, either by disposing of it and obtaining obtaining capital, and leveraging that capital to get the next real deal and doing something with it, you don't have deal. So, guys, if there's anything that you wanted to take out of this session, this live video that I've just done for you, it is one: COVID is an opportunity to concentrate your efforts and to clarify for yourself that you need to be a real estate investor, because it is the basic underlying principle that will lead you to actually realize the opportunities, having been open-minded, okay? To realize with your open-mindedness, to realize the opportunity that the volatility of COVID presents itself not as a villain, but as your friend, as an equal tool for you to leverage for your success, by realizing that your income and only income can buy you the time that you deserve to actually live the life that you wish to live, that you are born to live. To do the D, which is the deal. Do the deal. And by deal, I mean buy or look for or learn how to assess assets and ensure that you are picking up something that has an element of depreciation, so that you're picking up a discount, because that discount will give you the equity that with a few tweaks, you'll be able to get the value of the property to appreciate. And within the appreciation of that property will present you the L, the most important tool to a real estate investor, which is L, which is leverage, for you to leverage up, to leverage the capital, to leverage the income. So some things, and for me, when I say to you that our straw house, we've actually done something to it that is now bringing us, or that has made it again a house of brick. And sort of, in a way, I suppose maybe because of sentiment, again, with that specific property, I always go back and think, I need to keep it, but if it has to be meaningful to me. And my sentiment is maybe serving me well now, because I've been able to find that the reason why it was a straw house is because there are certain things that personally I have done that has neglected it, that has put a certain person within that property, that with time, now with hindsight, I've realized I shouldn't have kept there and I shouldn't be keeping there. And you shouldn't suffer that same thing. But with the incomes that that property yielded me, due to my strong belief in the principle of leverage, I've always taken that income and I have leveraged it by actually paying off where the property that we live in, paying more of that sum into our bond to actually reduce our bond on the property we live in. Because remember, the property we live in is not really an asset, but it's a liability. So in as much as I teach my clients and I say, as a real estate investor, debt is good for you, there is certain debt which is not good for you. And the debt on your present property, you want to reduce, because you're not able to write that out, from a tax point of view. You can't write out those expenses on that property in terms of the interest that you pay on the bond. So you want to be able to leverage to get it down. And that, for me, has been what has made that straw house be a brick house. And going forward, we've come up with a strategy on what we're going to even do to that property that will create a greater amount of income on that specific property, to allow us to be able to continuously leverage it to actually pay off or pay down our debt with the expenses as a tax deduction anymore. If you enjoyed this video, do let me know which part of the video you liked, why you liked it, and how it is serving you well. Give me the key thing that you learned from this video that is going to help serve you better going forward. If there are things that you realize within this video that you'd like me to change, as we said, it's the first time I'm streaming live, especially with this tool that I'm streaming live. There are certain mistakes that we've made. I personally have realized some of them that we're going to work on. But I need your feedback to be able to give to you the type of content that will help you grow. And other than that, it has been an absolute pleasure to do this video for you. I do apologize that I have kept myself away from you for so long, but I'm also thankful to myself for keeping myself away from you for so long, because reality, you can only pull people up when you are stronger. And that is a philosophy that I have always lived my life by. And in moments when I feel weak, I always withdraw to go and build massive strength. And my strength always comes from going back to, I've got written in 1880 something. So I study the people that were born in the 1800s that were able to build the countries that we are living on. And in my moments of weakness, I go back and I go and watch those, my mentors, and I watch them again, and I go and pick their thoughts from the books that they left behind so that I can recalibrate myself. And Abraham Maslow is one of them. His book was written in 1954 for the first time, and he rewrote it in 1970 actually. And I have the 1970 version, and going back to it helps me repick myself up that I may be and continue to be of value to you. I'm Ebo Quagrain. I'm your real estate investor, your mentor, and your coach. And if there's anything that I strongly believe that I was born into this world to do, be able to live my life of meaning and purpose when I listen to your problems and I'm able to listen in to the world around me and to help you find solutions to those problems. It's been a great pleasure doing this video for you. Have a great day, and bye-bye. Don't forget to stay safe, stay indoors if you can. Opportunity to read, to stay positive, to do anything. And if you ever feel like you're going into a negative spin, don't forget to reach out to a friend. Don't forget to reach out to a family person. And I am here for you. If you've got anything, inbox me, and I'll do the best way I can. Have a great day, and happy in the COVID world. Cheers.